Cash out. Cash out. Cash out.
All right, here we go. Back with another episode of TD Talk. I got my boy Dave with me. Another episode. This is a special edition episode of the Super Bowl. So welcome, Dave. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
You know, same old, same old. We trying to hit some of these picks, get some of these parlays right tonight.
Last game.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got.
All right. So when we look at this, first things first, we're gonna look at this. Let's look at this Super Bowl. Hold on. Can you see me? We got connection. I think we got connection issue.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's look at this Super Bowl. When we look at this Super Bowl here, and we go into it, and we go into the Super Bowl, we got the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Philadelphia Eagles here. So now let's just talk about the lead up to this. Okay. So we got Kansas City going to for a three-peat. This is essentially uh a rematch of the Super Bowl that happened just 2 years ago. And we know how that one ended. Kind of a ticky tacky, controversial penalty towards the end there, and a very high scoring back and forth type of game. So this one is a rematch. I think with that one of the rematches, like the better rematches where it wasn't really one sided. And going into this one again, it's kind of like okay, it could be anybody's ball game in this one. So I kind of am excited to see who comes out with the rematch on this go round. What you think, Skis?
Yeah, same old Chiefs. Chiefs still the Chiefs. The Eagles did add. I mean, they got Saquon, he's been on a tear.
Yeah,
He's been on a tear. They've been running the ball well. Kansas City's defense is pretty good. Philly's defense is good. Um, I think Kansas City's kind of sleeper. Like everybody kind of gets numb to it, but they do have some big names. They got a good O line. Uh, a lot of people say they don't have a wide receiver one, but they got. I mean, they don't really need them because they're kind of like how the Chiefs play, but they got Worthy, Hollywood, Juju, and they got D Hop.
that's right.
Pacheco's rolling out. Pacheco should be pretty good to go. Like he's been playing the last few games too.
Yeah,
So they got the boom and zoom. Like they don't have a Saquon, but they got Kareem Hunt and Pacheco, Mahomes, and then you got Kelsey too.
yeah. Actual Kelsey's like a clutch, go to type player.
Yeah, and like every single person knows how they know the recipe, and like I also like when you look at the coaching staff, like Andy Reid. I'm gonna trust him over fucking what's his name.
Well, you got Nick Sirianni, but he don't even call any plays.
No, he doesn't do anything. So I mean, Kellen Moore, he's the OC.
Come on now.
He's he's not bad. Like at least he knows how to use Saquon. But apparently the Saints have locked him in pretty much for the new head coach down there. So I can't trash talk him too much.
Yeah,
But yeah, Andy Reid's the GOAT, man. I'm gonna trust Andy Reid any day of the week. And the Chiefs, I mean, we've been on them all year. Whenever you can get a good line on them.
yeah, that's true. That's very true.
But
Speaking of
it
lines,
should be a good. It should be a good game. I think this is the matchup. I mean, I don't want to see the Eagles in the Super Bowl, but I don't think.
yeah,
I mean, I maybe put the Lions in there, but like they lost to Washington pretty bad, so it's like.
and I'm about to say credit to this season because these two teams really, I would say, outside of maybe the Buffalo Bills, Kansas City's probably the best team in that AFC. I mean, Buffalo Bills beat Kansas City. They couldn't beat them when it mattered.
Yeah.
But Kansas City beat everybody they played almost to two teams. Really, and the second time it was really JV versus varsity.
Yeah, that I
Um,
don't count that one.
yeah, so and that's really the best team coming out the AFC and NFC. We kind of beat the Lions. The Lions were wounded, but I mean the Vikings had a good chance. They folded in the playoffs when they got there. I mean the Rams gave the Eagles a good fit, which I think they could have stole that game late in the end. But
Yeah.
the Eagles,
Without the
oh,
weather, they would have
for
stole it for
sure.
sure.
And the Eagles survived, and I think the Eagles were a better team that day. I think the Rams played better. But Green Bay came in. They didn't, give enough work to the Eagles. And to me, it's just the best teams on both sides made it. Shout out to the Eagles, even though that,
Right.
they went through my Washington Commanders. We had a great season, but they did us dirty. So they deserve to be in the Super Bowl.
Yep. Should be good. And it's in the dome, so
Yeah.
you're not gonna have any weather factors. Like it's gonna be fucking loud in there, and it's gonna be
Clean
clean
football.
football.
Speaking of, we got Kansas City and Philadelphia. It's set up as if Philadelphia's home, but really this is New Orleans, so there's no home field to me advantage. When you look here, both teams had to travel. Both teams are staying outside of their playing outside of their home stadium, so really no home field advantage. -1. We've seen this line at -1.5, +1.5. Even on like FanDuel, DraftKings under over 48.5. I've seen this line at 49. And then also -120 plus 100. This line opened up for KC at -130. I think it was 130. I think I want to say 130 last week after the AFC championship game and the NFC, not last week, the week before last. But it opened up a little higher. It's gone down, and really at this moment, I'm actually about to attack it again and put in my bet for money line again because the line has dropped again. Okay, we got the line sitting at, my 5 hours before, 6 hours before the game at -118, and then even money for Philly. So the line is starting to move in the direction I would say of. Bless you. The line would start. It's starting to move a little bit in the direction of the
Shit.
Eagles, which is kind of weird. To me, the Eagles are the better.
That's usually what I don't know. I think I kind of expect it because everybody wants to see Kansas City lose, so everybody like hopes they do the hope bets. Kind of what I did all
Yeah,
playoffs. I was kind of taking the underdog on a lot of games because I was like, man, it'd be so sick if they
yeah.
won. But it's just probably like there's a lot of hope there, but I just don't
Yeah.
see it
I mean,
happening.
that's true though, and I mean the Eagles are, to me, the way I see this, outside of coaching, we're talking about just talent on the field. I think the Eagles are the better team. And this kind of gives me the vibe of it kind of gives me a vibe of your, I would say, you remember how the Patriots were when they played like they played a team like kind of like okay, a good example, Patriots. I think it was the Patriots when they played Kansas City. I think it was in the AFC championship game, I want to say, and Mahomes beat that team. I mean, Tom Brady beat that team. So the
Hmm.
Kansas City Chiefs, I think, were the better team, had the more explosion, a lot more on that unit versus Tom Brady, which had more of the experience, the GOAT coaches, you know what I mean, and the tenured team that have been together for a little while. And that's kind of how I see this game. They they got a team in Kansas City been together for a little while. They play together well. They have the better coaching on that side, but the better athletes are on the side of the Eagles. And we've seen that, okay, it makes for a good game, but in that game and also in the Patriots Seahawks game when they played the Legion of Boom. When they played the Legion of Boom, the Seahawks were definitely the better team. I think they had Marshawn Lynch and then uh, the Bobby Wagner and Cam Chancellor and all them on the defense. Even Tyler Lockett was still kind of in his prime. Then you also have uh, the Tom Brady, the Patriots, and they had a kind of misfit type of team where they really didn't have a lot of stars on that team, not a lot of star power at all. And way that team went, the better team was the Seahawks, but the Patriots came out on top. So I feel like this is a similar situation to those games.
Yeah, you got the Chiefs team who before the Super Bowl last year were talking about a three-peat. So like they know they're expected to win. They've been
Yeah,
there before. if shit gets hairy late in the game, they're going to be comfortable in that moment, and the Eagles, like, Hurts might drop a snap. Like he comes off pretty cool, but I think the team as a whole is not going to be that comfortable in those
That's
clutch
right.
moments.
That's right.
Yeah, the Eagles are going to be more comfortable in that blowout scenario. Like if they get a couple touchdowns up, like they can protect a lead. But I don't know. It's hard to
Yeah,
go
you know
against the
what?
Chiefs, man.
That's kind of how I see this game playing out, right? This is what I see. I see two scenarios, right? Like this is kind of how I see like I say, this game kind of coming into fruition, right? Say this, right? Let's say this. All right, so let's say this. I think that let's say Chiefs get ball first. Chiefs are gonna hike the ball, get the ball probably, they just get the kickoff, more likely to go through the back of the end zone. They start from their own 30. And I think they're going to try to take that ball, take a 14-play drive, 8, 9 minutes off the clock, and try to keep Saquon on the sidelines, and vice versa. I think that they know that they got one of the best quarterbacks of all time over there on that sidelines when the Eagles are on offense. And I feel like when the Eagles get the ball, they're going to try to do this little 5-yard clip, 6-yard clip, 3-yard clip, 5-yard clip, and they're going to try to manage that clock and control the game until the end of the game to the fourth quarter, and then try to try to have the ball last and put the dagger in them. Which, to me, I feel like the last game was a little bit more high flying. I think it will turn into that. I think that the teams will try to kind of start slow, and kind of bleed the clock and try to go for control. But at the end of the day, what I also see, that's one scenario. Second scenario I see is KC come out fast, get a lead so that they can't play this run game with Saquon, and they're forced. They kind of have this pressure on them to throw the ball. So I feel like
Yep.
that's one where I feel like they're going to try to keep the pace on them and outpace them so that they can't just play run ball, run, run, run. They have to throw the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
Two ways I see it going.
All right, what kind of picks? What kind of
All
picks we
right,
got?
so let's go ahead and look at what we got here for some of the Super Bowl picks. I got a couple tickets in that I would say I kind of like. I kind of like a couple things here. So when you're looking at FanDuel here, let's go down some of the quarterback props, passing props. I guess I would say here that I kind of saw that were interesting when you look at this game. All right. So looking at passing props was a good one that I kind of saw. So looking at the passing props here, if you're looking I'm on actual FanDuel here, looking to see what we got. Okay. All right. If you look here on Jalen Hurts passing props, they got the passing lines right here at 211.5, right? 211.5, 254.5. What I see here on this, looking at these props here, is that the line on Jalen Hurts to me is a little low. Okay, to me. I feel like Jalen Hurts is a little low. They think that he's not going to throw the ball. I think in this game he's going to have to throw the ball. So, and then also I feel like I said, Kansas City could come out and get up on a little lead on them, and if they get a little lead on them, then they're going to definitely have to throw that ball to get back in the game. So what I see is I would take the over 211 on Jalen Hurts. Now Patrick Mahomes is the weird one here, where I feel like that might be a little inflated because I do think they're going to try to slow the game, um, and I feel like they probably will be playing more so. I just don't see Patrick Mahomes having to play catch up. I just don't see that. So I don't think that they're going to come out. I think they're going to try to control the game. I don't think they're going to try to do this high flying type offense, 300 yards passing. But I do see 230, 240 from Jalen Hurts. What do you think about the quarterbacks?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. If if the Chiefs get out and they try to start throwing the ball, but that's just not really their style. I don't think they're gonna shy away from the run even
Right.
if they're down, because I feel like they get more explosive plays off the run than they do the pass sometimes. So it's like they're not the team that's honestly. I think they're kind of the opposite. I don't think they run the ball to like chew up clock or anything. I think they'll throw the ball in that situation, like little quick outs and stuff, and then they'll pop you with a Saquon for a big play. Like I don't think they're really looking for like a big play
Oh, you
passing
talking
the
about
ball.
Jalen?
Yeah, because Saquon will. He's almost like their Hail Mary. It's like, all right, let's just run a, let's throw the ball, bunch of quick outs, um, get the linebackers a few steps back, and then they'll just hit him in the
Yeah.
mouth with Saquon. So I don't know. Jalen Hurts he's had a couple games where he throws the
No,
ball,
not a
but
lot this year, but I feel like Spagnola, he's going to force the Eagles into. I mean, because that's like the way that the defensive the great defensive coordinator
yeah, they could definitely bait him into it. Like they're gonna shut it down and
make them
make him
throw.
throw the ball so
You see what
he
I'm
gets more
saying? So
touches.
like,
Yeah,
and I mean, if you think about it, like if you're playing defense right on offense like that, you're like, look, we're not gonna stop everything. They got one of the better wide receivers. They got one of the better rushing quarterback, and they got the best running back in the league right now. So shut that running back down, make the quarterback throw the ball. Like if we lose like that, we lose like that. One on one, we'll take our corners versus their wide receivers. But at the end of the day, it's like you're not gonna let Saquon go out there and run for 250 on you and 5 touchdowns. I mean, you just gonna
yep.
you gonna pick your poison. So I feel like they're gonna say, all right, we're gonna stop your best threat, which is Saquon, and if you can beat us over the top, beat us over the top. And I think he'll be able to beat them over the top. I wouldn't say beat them, but I would say actually gain yards, move the ball, throwing the ball, because Jalen Hurts he's not bad at passing. It's just not the Eagles' game plan. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's not like
Yeah,
it's
that'll
not
be
like he
interesting.
lacks the ability. All right, so let's move on into some of the receiving props that we kind of look at here. We'll go to rushing props next, but receiving prop, I'll tell you what, this in the AFC Championship game, I kind of was looking towards Travis Kelce. I pulled up the stats here on Travis Kelce, and they didn't use him. They didn't use him. I think he had like 2 catches for like 20 yards or 19, 15 yards or something like that. Something really low. But what I see in this game, I actually like if you look on the receiving under over props here, if you look at D Hops has gone up. It was at 10, 10 yards. I think it was like 10 and a half yards. It's at 12 and a half now. So some people have been hammering that line. But I think DeAndre Hopkins, this is his first real Super Bowl. So, I think that Andy Reid is not going to let him get out of the Super Bowl without some touches and being significant in this game. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to give him some touches. I think that's crazy to have D Hop for 10 yards in this game. I think, he'll have 3 catches, maybe 25 yards, somewhere along that line. So I love that line. I had loved that line.
What's that?
DeAndre Hopkins over receiving yards. They're at 12 and a half right now. I took it at 10 and a half.
Oh yeah, he'll get some love. He might get that
On one
on one
catch. You know what I
catch.
mean? Like that one looks like free money to me. So I like that one. And then I also had liked uh, Dallas Goddard because just Kansas.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I
Yeah,
like
I'm
Goddard.
right there with you. I'm right there with you. Some of that short, quick stuff over the middle. Dallas Goddard, he plays this year. I will say this year he's played big in big moments. So, um, I kind of like him for that. I like his over for receiving and over for receptions. I think once they figure out that works, going over the middle with Dallas Goddard, they're gonna go back to it a couple times.
Yeah,
And they
for sure,
screen
for
him. I
sure.
saw they screened him the other game too. They screened him to Dallas Goddard and they got him on the edge. They've been using him a lot.
Yeah, because he's in the same run package, and then they'll flip it
Yeah,
out to
so
him.
I like that. I like that. And those are really my keys. Like the big ones I like. I guess you would say the top ones I like. Some of the ones that are scary, but I still like them, would be Marquise Brown, over 39.5. I kind of like that one. I'm weary of the Worthy because they just put all that Worthy stuff on tape last game, and I feel like they kind of did
Hmm.
that for a reason. Like, okay, we could beat this team with Worthy, but then when we get to the main game and showed everybody that we don't have to use Kelsey, we're going to use Kelsey, we're going to use D Hop, we're going to use, Juju. They used Juju a lot last game, and I'm weary of that one too. But I kind of like Marquise Brown. He's a quick threat as far as like a 5 yard in 5 yard hitch type threat. So I kind of like him in this spot. Because this is the
Word.
thing, the way that the Eagles defense plays is like kind of like that bend don't break type style where they let you get little 5 yard hitches and then like they tackle well. They just not trying to let you throw over the top of their head. And the type of person
Yeah.
that plays that well in those type of schemes where the defense is scheming them underneath is Marquise Brown, is a Juju Smith Schuster, is a Travis Kelsey. And D Hop, I think he's just going to get one of those tough catches, maybe like goal line touchdown type. I think they're going to put the ball up to him and he going to come down with it. He's just one of those that makes those crazy catches.
Yeah, they got a couple longest reception over under picks too, and those are kind of cool too because you don't have to worry about getting a certain number of catches or anything. You just got to look for, like, for example, Travis Kelsey's is over 19 and a
Mm,
half. And he could get, I mean, he could get 35 yards on one catch
yeah.
over the middle. Because that's what always happens. It's like every Kelsey catch that, like, even if he's not involved in the game plan that much, it'll be out of nowhere. Kelsey wide open. They'll just set him up and then have him get a 30-yarder. So that one looks good to me too.
All right. All right, I like that. The receptions. I also see this. Here's the thing, the receptions. I'm not gonna pick a lot of receptions tonight. I think that I like I say, the Dallas Goddard over, the DeAndre Hopkins over for the receiving yards. Now I will take the Dallas Goddard receptions over. Um, but outside of that, I think that I'm gonna stay clear of the reception. Things get a little weird here. You think you could have one guy get like 8 receptions, and then they just kind of
Yeah, those are tough lines to crack. But looking at the rushing too,
yeah,
almost like these longest rush over unders too look pretty appetizing. Like they got Isaiah Pacheco longest rush over under 8.5
whew,
yards. It's like all he has to do is get a 9 yard run, and then you hit that, and that's
yeah.
plus
I'm with you
105.
on that one.
And then they got Saquon at 24.5. So if he busts one,
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, it's not uncommon for Saquon to get a 50
that's
yard
true.
run. So
I see. It's tough with that one because I feel like the Kansas.
that was a big one. 24.5 is a lot, but like having
I'm
Pacheco break a sweep for 10 yards is doesn't seem that
definitely. I'm
crazy to
taking
me.
that. I'm taking that. I'm taking that
Yeah.
for sure.
So yeah, I'm trying to find some because they got, this is the Super Bowl, so they have like 5,000 bets. So I think like some of these weirder ones, not like the over under receptions, over under yards, you guys, because those lines are kind of tough to crack. But like some of these weird ones is where you can hit pay
Yeah,
dirt pretty
I,
quick.
I, I agree. I'm on that Isaiah Pacheco 8.5. I think he come out. Yeah,
Eight
I
and a
think he
half.
come out, and that's plus money on FanDuel. You got plus 100.
Yeah, plus 105 on DraftKings. So I think that's a
All
cool one.
right, and then also I was looking at this one. I kind of like this one as a standalone bet, maybe not in a parlay, but Jalen Hurts went for like 70 yards last game. And I feel like if they sell out on Saquon, it'll leave some openings for Jalen Hurts. And they have him at 36.5 rushing yards. I'm kind of leaning towards that. I would take an alternate around 30, just as a standalone. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I kind of like that line at 30 because even in the last Super Bowl, like I said, he had 70 yards, and if they selling out on Saquon, then I can see him just popping.
Yeah, he could pull. He could
Yeah,
pull it a few
he could
times.
pull. I think he'll pull it a couple times. And then also, Spags likes to send blitz, and when you send blitz, if you don't have your rushing lanes kind of plugged up, and that quarterback can hop back and then oh shucks, I'm getting blitz, boom, take off through the middle. He can have 2 or 3 of those for 15 yards, 10 yards. That'll give him that that type of line, that over line. So I like that one as a standalone. Maybe not in a parlay because I can also see him, getting sacked, running, throwing the ball, acting like a pocket quarterback, and then not get many yards at all. So, scary bet, but I
Yep.
like it. All right, and then also moving down on into some of the other props that we have here. I had liked the second half over. S-
Yeah, I can see that. What's the
23
line
and a
at?
half. I kind of like the second half over. Earlier this week it was at 22 and a half, but I still like it at 23 and a half. I think that it could get real tit for tat type. Uh, with the second half, I think it's the first half we go in. Okay, that was kind of slow, maybe a 14-7 type game, maybe a 14-10 type game, but then
Well, everybody, I mean, that's how it goes though, because everybody comes out hot, and then, or they kind of like the defense is pretty strong the first half, and then the second half, everybody starts getting tired, wearing down, adrenaline wears off a little bit, and then people start putting up
yeah,
points pretty
and
easy.
I would really love it at 21 or 20 and a half because it's 3 touchdowns, but I still see 4 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns apiece, 1 touchdown a quarter from each team. And then especially if you go in, let's say you go into halftime 14-7, that team that gets the ball on kickoff may go down and score, tie the game. You already got 1 touchdown right there in the first couple minutes. So I'm with
Yep.
that over. I'm with that over on the second half. I really like that one.
Yeah, my line bet that I got locked in is Eagles first half, Chiefs money line, and the over. So I'm hoping for some
Okay.
points. And that's at plus 1,000.
All right, and then like I say, my pick for the Super Bowl to win it, I'm going Chiefs. Like I say, and I've said it all year long. Okay, Kansas City, 2 years ago in this spot, because I used to be one of those that, Patty ain't like that. Then she's gonna lose to them Eagles. The Eagles had the better team, I think, going into the last game. They had a stronger team. Devontae got off early. AJ got involved. Hurts was slinging that thing around the yard. They still had Gainwell. Gainwell scored the first touchdown actually in the last Super Bowl when they played the first time. He scored the first touchdown, and they had he wasn't even a premier back. The premier back was it Miles Sanders? Was it not? Was it not? No, I don't think it was Miles Sanders. What's his name? I don't know. They had premier back, and Gainwell was also he was also like he is this year in that number 2 spot, and he scored the first touchdown then. And I was like, man, them Eagles are gonna do it. They gonna win. And I put my money on the Eagles. I think I had like $100 on it, nothing crazy, but I had $100 on it, and they lost. Ever since then, I was like, all right, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, he's just gonna do it. Like last year when they went to Miami, Miami came to Kansas City. It was like -9 degrees, a real feeling. -9 degrees. Bet Kansas City there. I bet Kansas City against Buffalo. I bet Kansas City against Baltimore, the AFC champ. They were going into Baltimore, #1 defense. Bet them again. Bet them in the Super Bowl. Man, I'm telling you, this Chiefs team, I would not bet against them. So I'm just
Yeah,
I'm
we're
riding
riding
Chiefs. I'm
Chiefs.
riding Chiefs until they show me that they're not gonna win. I'll lose. I'll just
We're
I just have
riding
to lose.
Chiefs.
I'm gonna lose with Mahomes, or I'm gonna win with Mahomes because this guy is something different, man. And that's the crazy thing is that this is a lot of people say this is our generation's Brady. Which we saw a little bit of Brady, his like tail end of his career. His early career was, you know, 2000, 2001, kind of when he kind of got started, was 25 years ago. But when you look at this guy, Patrick Mahomes, he's doing a lot of that stuff he was doing early, like leading the team to the Super Bowl, finishing these games. You know, man, this guy is something serious, and just to watch him play is crazy.
All right, what
All
else
right.
we got?
So outside of that, I think that pretty much buttons up what I like on this Kansas City. Uh,
Yeah, I'll look into it some more later, but I'm not going too
no,
crazy
and,
on it.
and and I think that they got all of these lines like right on the line. You know what I mean, of where the game will be. You know what you see what I'm
Yep.
saying? Oh, outside of that, my touchdown picks. I just we didn't talk about touchdown picks. So um I'm riding with Jalen Hurts for a tush push. I just think that's like automatic. Um,
Yep.
and then
Kareem
yeah,
Hunt's a
Kareem
good
Hunt
one.
is a good one. And I'm also riding with, for some reason, I like it, Travis Kelsey. I'm going with it again. He scores. This guy scores. And even though they didn't use him a lot last game, this is a Super Bowl, and I feel like if they get into a tight spot, Mahomes gonna find Travis. He's gonna find him.
Yeah, I think there's a reason they didn't use him last game too.
Yeah, that's true. They might.
They got some good stuff
I
for this
agree.
game.
So those are like three I would say: Jalen Hurts, Travis Kelsey, Kareem Hunt. I would go with those three. Now, outside of that, if you want to
Yep.
get kind of freaky and kind of scary with it, um, you could take Worthy because they've been using them a lot more. Um, and then also you could take Patrick Mahomes. I think those two are the scary ones, but I think that they might come true. Patrick Mahomes might go run in for one, and then Xavier Worthy kind of use him like a. I would also bet if they had him up here, they don't have him up here. I don't even know if he's playing, but Miko Hardman, he comes up big in these games. Miko Hardman,
Yeah, I don't think he's
yeah,
playing.
he didn't even play last game. Yeah,
Yep, I concur.
but those are the ones I think. Like I say, Mahomes uses his legs a little bit more in these games. I can see him scrambling for one. Um, but yeah, that probably pretty much zips up the Super Bowl for Kansas City versus the Eagles. Now, before we jump on out of here, we have to slide on into some of these basketball plays that we have for today. Now, we got some good little matchups today. We got the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Milwaukee Bucks here. And this is going to be a pretty decent game. -2 is the spread, -115, and then over under 228 and -135 if you're taking the favorite, which is kind of crazy to me, the favorite going into Milwaukee, the 76ers. Now, looking at this game, there's first of all, when you look at the calling of the game, I would take the Bucks in this spot. I know that the 76ers, the Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey has been playing absolutely outstanding football right now. I mean, he's been playing really good football. But when you look at the Bucks team, this Bucks team is well put together. They actually tip off at 2 o'clock. This is a 2 o'clock game, so this will be a game that will probably kind of be able to have something going on in the background while you kind of getting the stuff ready for the Super Bowl. Um, but what I would say is I like the spread there +2.5. If you're feeling really good about it, take the money line. But you got Giannis Antetokounmpo. He plays really good in these spots. Joel Embiid hasn't been able to get going as far as scoring, and then Tyrese Maxey has been what they've been leaning on. Tyrese Maxey has been giving them 30, 28, 29. I mean, I think 2 games ago he gave him 22 in like the first half. He was going crazy, and Tyrese
Yep.
Maxey has been stepping up his game. But outside of that, Joel Embiid, their superstar, that has to be. I remember I had him in a parlay. I had him to have over 25, and going into the half, he had 2 points. he has not been able to get going. So I just think that they cannot beat a Bucks team with Dame Lillard, uh, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez. He's been scoring 2 threes a game, which is really outside of his character, but he's been now. It looks like he's been training on his shooting a little bit more. They traded Chris Middleton and got back Kyle Kuzma in this trade. So Kyle Kuzma, I don't know if he's going to start today, but Kyle Kuzma's been in the lineup. He's going to be inserted into the lineup. And then you also have, which I feel like is going to be really good as far as today is Terry and Price. Prince. Prince has been playing some good ball lately. That's one person to really, really look out for. Now, if Giannis winds up sitting, because I did see that he was he would wind up sitting. I think last game he was kind of maybe sitting. I don't know why he was sitting, but maybe injury or something. But if he winds up sitting, I'm off the Bucks. I would say it's anybody's game at that point. But if he's playing, I'm definitely taking Bucks in that spot.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take your word for it. I haven't really paid any attention to basketball just yet, but I do like the Bucks for sure.
All right, so I'm gonna jump into. You got two more really good matchups for today. 1 o'clock game that's about to start here, actually here in about 10-15 minutes. You got Charlotte versus the Detroit Pistons. Now this game, I would take. I'm smashing that plus 111. You got LaMelo Ball. He's been playing outstanding. This guy in his last I think 10 games has been going upwards to about 30 points a game. This guy has been balling, and he's been shooting it well from the three. No, he's been at 24 his last game, 25, 22. He's averaging 28 points on this season, and he has been, like I say, playing outstanding basketball. Now, in some of those starts, should I say, or those games, he's been smashing the 3-pointer. He can shoot the ball well from the 3-point, and he takes a lot of 3-pointers in a game span. So looking at his last 5 games, let's just take his last 5 games. He shot 11 times from three, made 4 of them. He shot the game before that, he only shot 3 times. He only played 9 minutes. He got hurt in that game. But he shot 13 times from the 3-pointer against the Pelicans and made 4. He shot 6 times, made 2 against Memphis Grizzlies, and shot 10 times against the Dallas Maverick and made 5 of them. So if you're looking for a good prop in this, first of all, I'm taking the spread plus points on the Hornets, and I would take the Mellow Ball for anything over 3-3-pointers. I think his line might be at 3.5. That's usually where they sit him. Anything over 3 in this matchup against the Pistons. I know that usually he's a little slow to get going. When you talk about the Pistons, they play a little bit more of a rougher style, possession style type of basketball. But I would be willing to take that bet with LaMelo scoring 3 or more 3-pointers. All right, and yeah, that one, and Tim Hardaway actually has been stepping up his game as well. Anything over 2 for Tim Hardaway Jr. on the Detroit Pistons as well. Yep. And the last one I got is the Houston Rockets. So Houston Rockets, hold on, give me 1 second. The Houston Rockets, they're playing at Toronto. They're playing Toronto Raptors today. Toronto Raptors, they are one of the better covering teams in the league. Like just statistically, they usually cover more times than more times than a lot of teams do. The Toronto Raptors cover. As you see, they're against the spread. They're 30, 21-1. And then under over 20. It's pretty much 50-50 when you talk about under over, but they cover a little bit more than they don't cover. So I would say that this +9, this one is a toss up to me with the spread. I do think the Rockets are going to win this one. But I think that the Toronto Raptors, they play a good style of basketball. Over under 223.5, and then plus minus You got plus 320 for your underdog in Toronto. Now, I'm gonna tell you what, the Toronto's play good basketball. It just depends on how the Rockets come out. The Rockets are a young team. They could come out and be explosive, and then they can come out and struggle. And if that's the case, they come out and struggle, Toronto's gonna get on them. So, like I say, that one's a toss up to me. If I had to pick some props in that one, I would take Cade Cunningham to do his thing against the Rockets. I would take maybe like a rebound prop with Alperen Sengun, or Sengun. I think he's an overseas guy, but he does pretty well against the boards when he doesn't have like a big threat like a Nikola Jokic or Giannis. He does pretty well when he's playing average bigs in the league, I should say. And Toronto has a average big here. So yeah, Alperen Sengun, they got him at 11.5. I think it's a little high to me. I'd probably take him at 11, 10, maybe 10, 11, right in that ballpark. If you can wait, because the under is the favorite in that line. Maybe it'll flip and they'll by tip off tonight. They'll have it at 10.5. Maybe people will bet it down to 10.5. I'd probably wait. But if you could get it at 10, let's see what 10 or 11 rebounds looks like. So 10 is minus 240. But if you go to your alternates here and on the alternate rebound line, 10.5 is minus 154. So I would probably take somewhere around in that ballpark for Alperen Sengun. So if you needed a prop, yeah, I kind of like that. He does pretty well. Alperen Sengun is a younger guy, younger cat, but he does pretty well without those big name bigs.
Yeah, I'll study up next week and try to get back into some NBA for the next time.
Yes, sir. It's about that time to get rolling on NBA. This is the last football game of the season. I'm crazy about football. I kind of keep up with basketball, and then of course baseball seasons. We do pretty well with baseball season, but football. Anything competition. Especially when they talk about competitive and gambling is on the line, and money lines and spreads and under overs. We kind of bring y'all some good picks here.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah, we're gonna see what we got. We got Super Bowl night, 6:00, 6:30. We're gonna see who comes out on top here. Dave, you got anything for the people?
I got nothing else. I'm gonna go cook some food. Sun's shining. I'm gonna be outside. See if we can make some money tonight.
That's right. All right. We see y'all next week.